Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. We're opening with this fantastic hymn, We Would Be One. For many years, this was sung at every single service at UUCA. A song about striving for justice and working together. Please rise in body or in spirit.
Good morning, friends. I am Reverend Taryn Strauss, Senior Minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, where you are finding yourself today in what has been a wild week here in Atlanta. A lot of things going on. And here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, where we are transforming lives through courageous action and soulful connection. So I hate to break it to you if you have come to stay exactly the same. You might be in for something transformative, coming through, breaking through in your life, as we are here in the business of transformation, and you are welcome. We are so glad you have found yourself here. If you have been coming to UUCA for decades or for weeks, or if this is your first Sunday here, welcome to the wild and wonderful world of UUCA, a place that holds many beliefs courageously, a place where people may place their faith in science or reason, a place where people may place their faith in a holy and loving God or in the mysteries of the universe, but all want to celebrate life. All want to honor the search for truth and meaning. Amen? And all want to support one another in times of heartbreak and in times of joy. And we are a big ocean faith, yes? And we here welcome you actively, you who are queer, who are gay, lesbian, who are bisexual, who are transgender, who are non-binary. We welcome you, we see you, we cherish you here at UUCA. You who have had an abortion, you who have been unhoused, you who have complex medical needs, you who are struggling today with some mental health journey, you who practice double belonging, who you are a part of another faith and this faith, and honor aspects of other faiths in your belief system, we welcome you here today. If you are ready to dive in deep to your spiritual life and your faith home, well, we welcome you with open arms and an open heart this morning. So come on in. At UUCA, there was always more than meets the eye. There was always more happening underneath the surface of what you see and experience. And the Endowment Fund is one of those things. And that is what we are celebrating here today. See, the Endowment Fund strengthens our roots as a community. It keeps us strong. And today we want to surface that committee and their good works today on Legacy Sunday. So welcome to Legacy Sunday. We are also here today to celebrate and honor our volunteers that make this place live. And it is wonderful to be joined in worship by the fabulous Mark Williams and Ann Van Whitson on harp and violin. And I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the Endowment Fund for providing this morning's bagels, so go get them after the service. And at this time, Jen Bain is going to come from the Endowment Fund to light our chalice this morning. Today's chalice lighting honors the members of the UUCA Endowment Fund Legacy Society. If you have included the Endowment Fund, before you light it, we're going to do this. If you've included the Endowment Fund in your estate planning, please rise in body or in spirit or wave your arms if that's more comfortable so we can see you and know you and honor you. We honor your thoughtful commitment during this special moment as Jen lights our chalice. Your legacy inspires us all. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, ignite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
So, our story this morning is by our U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, Just Help, illustrated by Angela Dominguez. Each day, when Sonia woke up, her mother asked her a question: how will you help today? Mommy was a nurse who helped people at a hospital, and Sonia wanted to help too. So each morning, Sonia set about to have a good answer to Mommy's question. One morning, Sonia knew just how she was going to help that day. She filled 2 shopping bags with candy bars, warm socks, nice soaps, sunglasses, pens, and notepads. When Sonia boarded the school bus, the driver helped her carry her bags up the steps. "What's all this?" she asked Sonia. We're sending care packages to American soldiers overseas. When Sonia got on the bus, not one seat was free. She did not know what to do. Then Booker and Sky waved to her. "You can sit with us," squeezing together to make room for Sonia. "Thank you," Sonia said. At school, Booker, Sky, and Sonia emptied their bags onto a table in the gym. Many kids had shown up to help. The kids sorted and bagged up the treats. Kylie was extra happy. You see, her mom was a soldier in the army, stationed far away. Kylie missed her every day, but it made her smile to think of her mom opening one of those care packages. When she was done, Kylie gathered up the plastic shopping bags and gave them to Brooklyn. Brooklyn loved underwater animals. She was upset to learn that plastic bags humans dumped into the oceans made sea turtles sick. When she read about a worldwide campaign to save the sea turtles, Brooklyn started a recycling program at school just for plastic bags. After school, Gabriella and her brother Lucas went to the playground. There was trash everywhere. Gabriella thought about the recycling bins. "Let's make today a park cleanup day." And the other kids all agreed to help. Afterwards, Lucas took a piece of chalk and wrote in big letters, "Keep our park clean. Please do not litter." When Jasper got home, he saw his room was a mess, just like the park had been. As he cleaned up, he found brand new toys he had never used. Sound familiar? He decided to donate them to the Children's Hospital. Jasper remembered when he was a patient there. And he always felt better when the nurses brought him to the playroom. So he brought the toys next door to Maya because her dad worked at the hospital and could take the toys to that playroom. Jasper's kindness reminded Maya she had something special to give away too. She picked out her favorite shirt from her clothes drawer. Maya loved it, but she knew someone who would love it more, especially today. Her friend Simone. Simone stood on the street corner with her dad and her brother Miles. It was election day, and they were campaigning for their favorite candidate for city council who promised to build more schools and playgrounds. When Maya gave Simone the shirt, Simone was thrilled and put it over the shirt she was already wearing. Simone and Miles were handing out flyers to everyone who passed by, including Samir and his mom. "Mommy, it's election day. Did you vote yet?" "Oh, no, I forgot." "Well, let's go vote. My teacher says your vote is your voice in the community." Samir wanted his mom to use it. The voting booths were set up in the senior center. As Samir and his mom waited to vote, they saw Kunal pushing John in his wheelchair. John lived alone, and twice a week, Kunal spent the afternoon at the senior center, visiting and sharing snacks. "Promise me, when you're 18, you will vote," John said as he stuck his "I voted" sticker on Kunal's shirt. "When I was young, I was part of a great struggle to get the right to vote. Now I never miss the chance." "I promise," Kunal said. Later that evening, Sonia climbed into bed, and her mother asked her, "Sonia, how did you help today?" Sonia thought about the service projects for the soldiers, recycling the plastic bags, cleaning up the playgrounds, and voting with Mommy. But she also remembered the bus driver who brought her to school safely, the postal workers who delivered the packages to the soldiers, the poll workers who helped voters, and her friends who helped in big ways and small. all helped each other today, said Sonia. As Sonia closed her eyes, she imagined that everything she did was like the yarn in the blanket her grandmother had made for her. It tied Sonia to everyone around her and even people she did not know, each one inspiring the next, knitting together a community that was safer, cleaner, wiser, healthier, and kinder. Like Sonia, her friends, and her neighbors, when we all do our part, we all can have a good answer to Mommy's question, how will you help today? And speaking of people who are helping today and have already been helping for the last hour or so, I want to invite our religious education teachers, those volunteers who are working with our children and youth in our program this year, to come to the chancel to help lead this morning's movement prayer. So some are going to come up onto the chancel, some are going to make a circle around the chancel. So please rise in body or spirit and join us. First, we bow to honor the Spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of Spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present, honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present. Amen. Blessed be. At this time, we would like to invite our children, third grade and under, to exit and join preschool or their creative workshop for this morning. And please note the location for these are just down the hall on the first floor. And as our children recess, please take this opportunity to greet your neighbor, especially someone you have not met.
Thank you for such beauty. So we are taking a moment, some time out of time, to celebrate UUCA's devoted volunteers today. This congregation is a community that flourishes because people labor for one another, serve one another, and believe the power of community is truly worth their time, effort, and talent. And people, my friends, the staff, congregants, often joke that whenever someone says something like, nature is my church, or theater is my church, I will immediately respond, well, nature is vital and theater is inspiring, but only church is church. And I stand by that statement. There is nothing else like it. No place where you will be called to bring your gifts, your talents, and add them into the collective, where people of all ages, generations are invited to share of their deepest selves, to lift up one another with only the pure purpose of community. There is no congregation at all without you, without your hands laboring for love, your acts of devotion that form something ephemeral, immediate, intangible, imperfectly harmonious. Nothing is more moving than walking by the commons, that room down there on a Sunday morning, and seeing Letta Wu lead a prayer with the Radical Welcome team. It's John Guyton standing over there making sure we get the count right in the sanctuary every Sunday. It's Bert Pierce, Jane McGregor, Jim Kelly, and the whole Memorial Garden ministry that with rakes and hoes out here this week in the 90-plus degree heat, nurturing our Memorial Garden, which we will dedicate later today at 12:30, shortly after the service, and you're invited to that. It's Mark Denard teaching a mural painting class to 10 or 12 paint-covered kids in a paint-covered room on a Sunday. It's Barbara Bagner's baking ministry, baking a seemingly endless number of delicious pound cakes to nourish us on Sunday mornings. It's Beth Martinez arriving early after her hour-plus long drive to church and setting up the PowerPoint slides as she slides into her chair at the AV desk. It's Deanne Peterson sitting through meeting after meeting about the minutia of value engineering. There are there are countless names for countless tasks that make this place spectacular, beautiful. And this is where you come in. So there is no way for me to capture all of our amazing volunteers, no way for me to name all the names that serve this holy community of life and love. And so at this moment, I'm going to invite you to name yourself. So I'd like you to take out your phone now. I'm not really gonna say this very often in church. While I explain this activity, you can now either scan, is there a QR code behind me? Yeah. Scan the QR code on the screen, or you can go to the UUCA website and enter the numerical code. I'm saying words I don't fully understand, but I'm just telling you what you're supposed to do. So to scan the code, just open your camera and hold it up so you can see the entirety of the square. And tap on whatever link pops up on your screen, like tap that prompt. Okay, you're doing it, especially if you volunteer, like, do it. All right, okay. Okay, thumbs up, people are doing this. So now, like, does it just happen? Is it happening? So the prompt, okay, so you're supposed to do something. Cool. It's gonna happen. Who are the volunteers who we wanna celebrate today, who make this place beautiful? Oh my gosh, we're still waiting. Don's playing music. This is great. Oh my gosh, there they are. So you're naming yourself. And by the way, if you see your name, please rise in body or in spirit. If you rise in spirit, you can raise your hands. But let me see you. Let me see you if your name is up there. So yeah, that's right, like Kay Golan. Okay, but if you can rise, like do, stand, because we're going to do something. Because there you are, and there you are. Choir. If you sing in the choir, your name should be up there. If you teach religious education, let me see your name. If you serve in the Legacy Society, if you serve on the Board of Trustees, the nominating committee, the library committee has been doing amazing work these past few weeks and longer. I'm not going to name them all. What else? If you are on the Radical Welcome team on Sunday mornings, let me see you. If you are a lay minister, let me see you rise. Okay, if you are standing, if you are rising, if you are showing up to this place that you love with devotion, time, effort, it can be so effortful sometimes. Please give these folks a hand. Oh, whoa, stay standing, stay standing. And now give each other a high five, high 10, high five, high 10. No, to each other, to each other. Yeah, I'm gonna high five you. Thank you. You're doing it. You're doing it. All right. Look at those names. Okay, now they're gone. We celebrate you, volunteers who make this place beautiful. We honor you. And we invite you all to our reception in the social hall after the service, but before the Memorial Garden dedication, to enjoy cake in your honor and bagels. You can stop by the volunteer appreciation table in the social hall to pick out a little gift for yourself to show our gratitude for your devotion.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Root hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale compasión. Sopla al volar, sube en la mar, hasta moldear la justicia de la vida.
us put hands on hearts. If you have done this 100 times, I invite you into beginner mind today. Let us put hands upon hearts, feel the heartbeat, connection to life. Breathe in peace. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love can heal this world. There is someone in your life who is struggling today. Someone who is suffering, grieving, in pain. Please write their name into the live chat and speak their name out loud into this sacred community of love so we may all lift them up together. Speak their name now. May all beings find connection. May all people find comfort. May all of us find more ways to be more loving. Spirit of life, love eternal, we rest for a moment in holy gratitude, surrendering to a mystery beyond ourselves, asking forgiveness for our mistakes, for those times we have been selfish or thoughtless. Breathing in and out, we offer grace. We forgive ourselves, and we forgive each other. We begin again in love. And we send love to our precious earth, that which supports and sustains all life. We breathe in, opening our hearts to wonder for just one moment, feeling a deep connection with all beings. Let us calm our bodies, rest our minds, breathe in peace, and exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the silence.
Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. I'm Carol Ann Arvin, and I'm a member of UUCA's Legacy Society. Now, I know legacy and society can be loaded words, so let me clarify. Unlike some colleges, fraternities, and sororities, membership in the Legacy Society is not about who your relatives were. There's no secret handshake, no hazing ritual. We're not that kind of legacy. And we're not a group that attends the Met Gala or spends summer in the Hamptons. We're not that kind of society either. The Legacy Society consists of individuals deeply committed to UUCA who have named the UUCA Endowment Fund as a beneficiary in our will or estate plans. Our legacy will be the financial gifts we leave behind to support this congregation's future for generations to come. Now, why is the endowment fund so important? Well, it's not for day-to-day operations. It's for special projects that make UUCA unique. Our magnificent Steinway piano and our historic stained glass windows were restored through grants from this very fund. It has also played a significant role in building this beautiful new church home that we now share. Today is a special offering day at UUCA, our second Share the Plate of the year. Half of today's offering will go directly to support UUCA's current operations, while the other half will support our endowment fund, ensuring a lasting impact on UUCA's future. For more information about including the endowment fund in your estate plans, please visit the table in the social hall or just outside the doors here. Speak with any of us who happen to be wearing this lovely Legacy Society name tag after service. Or if you're visiting with us online, please reach out in the online chat. We're eager to share our stories and hope that you will consider making UUCA part of your own legacy. Now, please give generously to support the incredible work UUCA is doing in our lives today and in our community for the many days to come. The offering will now be given and most gratefully received.
Aren't you proud to be part of a congregation that can have a rock band one Sunday, followed by a harp and violin the following Sunday, and it's all excellent? It is a blessing to have a place like UUCA in our life where we can bring our joy, our celebration, our pain, our grief, all of it, our confusion, our doubt, our skepticism, our love, our passion. We bring it all here again and again, and it can still hold it all. It can hold all of us and what we're going through and all of our complexities, not simplifying it, not glossing over it, but getting real together, getting deep, authentically connecting and working together for something we all believe in. There's nothing else in the world like this. It is a blessing to all of us, and you are a blessing to this beautiful place. So please join me now in the dedication of this morning's offering.
To the work
of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community. We dedicate our lives, and these are offerings. Blessed be.
The people I love best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves to an ox, to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck and move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge themselves in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm, when the food must come in or the fire must be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust, but the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil. Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know that they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
We are now in the late harvest of summertime, the late summer harvest time. So get ready for some gardening metaphors. Because this is the time for reaping what you have sown, for tasting the fruits you have cultivated. And it's got me thinking about that term we use for the little vine of sun-gold tomatoes that suddenly pop up without warning nor planning outside, far beyond the garden gate, like icing on the garden's cake, like curious little delights where you received more than you were bargaining for. When you made your orderly garden plans with the seeds all in neat rows, and the earth decided instead to choose serendipity. What's the word for that again? Volunteers. Oh yeah, volunteers, that's it. That's what it's called. Volunteer plants are those that come up in the garden with no effort on your part. They germinate from seeds dropped by flowers in previous years, or seeds can arrive stuck to the fur and skin of small animals, or birds that visit your garden bring seeds contained in the berries and fruits they ate at their last stop. Volunteer. It's the right word for that extra blessing. And each week at UUCA, we experience the serendipity of our volunteers, these blessings beyond all imagining that make this world turn. So this is our Volunteer Celebration Sunday and our Legacy Sunday, a day of celebrating those people who give themselves to the congregation, to those who think big and have vision beyond their own households, their own lives, and want to be a part of a larger community, one filled with serendipity when we cultivate the fertile soil and deepen our own commitment. I told you there'd be gardening metaphors. And I am aware this can be a difficult time to discuss volunteering. I mean, sometimes, like the congregation, much like the world and all obligations, can feel insatiable. Jake Meter wrote earlier this year in The Atlantic about the crisis facing many mainline Protestant churches today. He writes how 40 million Americans have stopped attending church in the past 25 years. I mean, that's something like 12% of the United States population. It represents the largest concentrated change in church attendance in American history. This change is really bad news for America as a whole. You see, participation in a religious community generally correlates with better health outcomes and longer life, yes, higher financial generosity, and more stable families, all of which are desperately needed in a nation with rising rates of loneliness, mental illness, alcohol and drug dependency. And a new book written by Jim Davis, a pastor at an evangelical church in Orlando, and Michael Graham, a writer with the Gospel Coalition, called De-Churched, draws on surveys of more than 7,000 Americans by some political scientists, attempts to explain why people have left churches or de-churched. This, and what, if anything, can be done to bring people back. The book raises an intriguing possibility. What if the problem isn't that churches are asking too much of their members, but they aren't asking nearly enough? Ultimately, the book suggests that the defining problem driving out most people who leave is, well, it's just how American life works in the 21st century. Contemporary America simply is not set up to promote mutuality, care, or common life. Rather, it is designed to maximize individual accomplishment as designed by professional and financial success. Amen? I mean, do you feel that? I do. And such a system leaves precious little time or energy for forms of community that don't contribute to one's own professional life, or, as one ages, the professional prospect of one's children. Workism reigns in America today, and because of it, community in America, religious community included, is a math problem that just doesn't add up. There's no time left for it. The underlying challenge for many people is that their lives, and you could say amen if this is you, is that their lives are stretched like a rubber band about to snap. And church attendance ends up feeling like an item on a checklist that's already just too long. Amen? I see this problem everywhere. If you are struggling to pay the bills or dealing with a major mental health crisis in your own life, someone calling you up to join their volunteer church effort can seem out of touch at best. But the balm for an anxious world and a culture centered around workism, where value is placed on people's employment and job station to the exclusion of all else, is the cultivation of that third place. The third place, I've mentioned it to you before, not home, not work, but a third place, a place where your presence is felt and known, a place where we need each other in a way that is just way more vital. To be of use in service to love is good soul medicine. We can support each other's quest to strike the balance in our lives so that you are giving yourself to the things that really matter, where your effort can truly make an impact, where your energy also is replenished in return, and your labor is recognized. Congregations, you see, are living, breathing things. And when the Apostle Paul spoke about the church in Scripture as a body, well, it feels true. I mean, here is the head that sets the policy. Here are the hands that welcome you openly and graciously and make the live stream happen so beautifully. And here are the feet that march for your right to love and live freely. This is a place where your devotion can sometimes look like cooking a meal for the board meeting. It's a practice the board took up this past year. Or teaching a religious education class. Or arriving to church early to prepare to welcome people with radical hospitality. This is the body that needs your unique gifts and your beautiful spirit to activate, to rise, and to keep it thriving. And even as we honor and celebrate your precious contributions that keep this body activated, we also truly do need more people to sign up to serve on our Radical Welcome team just once a month. It means just coming to church a little bit earlier and preparing the way for folks to feel loved and welcomed when they come here in a world that sees them often only as dollar signs or burdens. To radically welcome someone into their faith home is a powerful ministry. And sometimes a small thing in certain ways. It is both. And we can look to Eastern religion too for guidance in how to spend a life in collective devotion. Among the many things I'll evangelize on is the city of Greensboro, North Carolina. Have you ever heard me talk about it? It's a well-kept secret gem of cultural diversity and well-supported immigrant communities. Did you know that? Well, let me tell you more. Good, somebody knows. Greensboro's awesome. In the early 1980s, the first Cambodian refugees were resettled in Greensboro. And today, over 600 families are an integral part of the Greensboro Buddhist Center. And while living as a college student on the campus of a small Quaker liberal arts school, somewhat on the edge of town, I could have spent those years cordoned off in my little bubble with friends, courses, and all the drama that entailed. But one of the things that drew me to Guilford College was their Bonner Scholars Program that offered considerable scholarship money in exchange for meaningful volunteering in the Greensboro community. Now, I refused to formally join the Bonner Scholars Program because I had a purity of heart that kept me from accepting money for something called volunteering. However, I happily hopped on the bus out to the Greensboro Buddhist Center, where we volunteered weekly, sometimes twice a week, to tutor children who were first-generation Cambodian refugees to help them with their schoolwork. And the Greensboro Buddhist Center was alive and humming. Children ran everywhere. Monks roamed the gardens in their striking saffron robes and even brighter smiles. I especially loved temple feast days when families would bring mountains of home-cooked vegetarian dishes that they had made. We would all pray and meditate. We would watch the monks eat first, and then finally feast on homemade Cambodian cuisine while someone played instruments I could not name, and then we led craft activities for the children. Though most of the people who were a part of the Buddhist Center lived off-site, they cooked, cleaned, swept, taught, and contributed as though it was their own home. This was an expectation of right living in the Buddhist tradition, that through their labor they would make the Sangha a beautiful sanctuary for all. Each season's garden harvest at the Buddhist Center was impressive and provided food for the monks and families in economic need. Right smack in the middle of strip malls and Southern-style diners, the Greensboro Buddhist Center was its own ecosystem, its own economy, where the monks taught classes, gave lectures, and led meditation, while the people who enjoyed these spiritual gifts provided everything else. I loved pulling up with the van for tutoring classes. The kids cheered as we rolled in. I had a place there. I had a role. I felt at home even though it was not my home and not my culture, and I was always learning something new. After all, I had grown up among the Unitarian Universalists, who have always taken volunteerism seriously as the lived expression of their religious values. Just to name a few of the people I remember learning about, there was Clara Barton, Unitarian founder of the American Red Cross, who said famously, "You must never think of anything but the need and how to meet it." Then there was Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, a Unitarian public intellectual who worked with Frederick Douglass and who wrote, lectured, and organized for the abolition of slavery and the black women's right to vote at the turn of the 20th century. And when we as UUs say, as we often do, we need not think alike to love alike, within the context of that statement is the truth that we do love alike. We may not have proof of God nor proof of an afterlife, but our works right here in this life are proof of our love and proof of our life, that we were here and we contributed. Liberatory love is a phrase that is being used in some of our national UU conversations right now, and someone here asked me recently, what does liberatory love mean? Sometimes the answers to these questions are best lived rather than explained. Love is an action. Love that liberates works for justice. Love that liberates serves the collective. Love that liberates bakes the cake for the revolution so that the hard work will always come with sweetness. Love that liberates throws the doors open wide and radically welcomes those who are excluded in the world out there. Love that liberates cares for the children and teaches them about the world and all that they deserve to know. Love that liberates feeds the hungry. Love that liberates nurtures the sick. Love that liberates tends the garden. So, my congregation, be like the sun-gold tomatoes that suddenly appear far outside the garden gate, the volunteer tomatoes. They were not even planned nor planted, yet they bloom still. They offer sweetness and refreshment to those who didn't even know they needed it. They seek the sunlight, even when the trees tower and the dusky shade seems overwhelming. One thing we can promise you: your life will be enriched if you volunteer your time and your talent here. If you pour a little bit of yourself into this courageous, soulful community, your own thirst will be quenched. Your presence will be known, felt, cherished, and missed when you are absent. You will be needed. You will become a resource for others. In a world where we often fail to see the fruits of our efforts, you will see them flourish here. You are the bloodlines of this body, the one that rises from the ashes again and again in different generations and different times. And there is nothing else like giving yourself to a community and finding out that you are known and cherished. You are loved and lifted up. And as I always say, the work may never be easy, so it might as well be fun. So I promise, too, that in every way we can, we will commit to making the work fun. So in the spirit of serendipity, let us be like the hardy cherry tomato and volunteer a little something extra to the collective, offering ourselves in the best way we know how, to live in service to love. And I'll close with a quote from Unitarian Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. It is not the length of life, it is the depth that matters."
Please rise in body or in spirit. Let's sing Standing On, Answering the Call of Love. the promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering the call of love.
So give yourself to love. Celebrate with gratitude all you have accomplished together to make this place beautiful. And spend your time laboring for the love that labors for you in return. Go deep in your devotion to your faith, to community, and uncover the gifts that depth will bring to your life. Let your life be a praise song of devotion. May you be known by your acts of love.